Now, phonetic literacy, as we know it today and as they knew it in ancient times, is an amazing invention. I think it's one of the most profound inventions and innovations, technologies of humankind that's ever been invented. Because what it does is it takes what's integral, the words coming out of my mouth, for example, and it separates them. It separates the sound from the meaning, and then it encodes that sound into what are otherwise semantically meaningless symbols. And then it builds those symbols up hierarchically, from letters into words, from words into sentences, from sentences into paragraphs, from paragraphs into scrolls and later books. And what it does is it begins to transform the ability of that society to create its institutions and the nature of those institutions. So imagine that, say you're an emperor, sitting some central location, let's say Rome, and you want to issue an edict. So you say whatever it is you're going to say, and some scribe takes your words exactly as you say them and puts them down into these code language called letters, writes them down onto a scroll, rolls up that scroll and gives it to someone who boards a chariot, and the charioteer rides to the far reaches of the realm, gives that scroll to somebody else. The person unrolls the scroll and then can reproduce the exact words that were said by that emperor without ever having heard them himself. Now, if you imagine that you've come from a society that was entirely a word-of-mouth society, what we call a primary oral society, being able to reproduce words that you've never actually heard is close to magic. It's almost like a telepathy, that you knew what was said over there and could reproduce it over here. But the other thing that gets transported along with the words was the proxy authority of that emperor, because whoever received those words could then have the authority to carry out whatever was in those words. And so one of the changes that occurs in that society is the beginnings of a hierarchical bureaucracy, that authority can be vested in the person who has command of that word.